So this, what?
It's
Yeah.
dark all the time. Then this video is
So
for a little bit of.
the first video I made was again Megan, a gal who has lived in Norway for 5 years, American gal, lived in Norway for 5 years. And my first reaction video was, I just gotta pick a video from her and react. But that was terrible because the whole premise of the video was, what do Americans think about Norway? And I was like, all right. So I picked another one. All right, this one, and I have drank some alcohol. This is the video. Common misconceptions about Norway from an American living here. Ah, fuck, is that... Oh, okay. Common misconceptions about Norway from an American living here. All right, fuck it, let's just go. Let's just have at it. Let's just have at it.
Background information. Right. I am an American and I've been living in Norway for 5 years now. And about 5 of the biggest misconceptions that people have about Norway.
This is my reaction.
Regions, and why they're maybe not wrong, but definitely not right either. Number 1, Norway is freezing all the time. Yes, Norway can be cold.
The Gulf,
but freezing not the all Gulf the time Coast. Makes it sound Gulf like we wake up in a snow globe and I have to fight a polar bear.
Because of the Gulf Stream, we aren't that
not
cold.
The case. Here's a fun fact that some people might not know. Thanks to something called the Gulf Stream, large parts of Norway, especially along the coast, are way milder than what you expect for how far north the country is. For example,
fucking America.
Cities like Oslo, Bergen, and Stavanger often have winters that are very similar to northern parts of the U.S. And I even know that this year specifically, this winter, it was warmer here than it was like in Minnesota. And summers can hit like 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, which is like 77 to 86.
Summers there can be really bad.
Sunbathe. And yes, people complain that it's too hot. And
bright
when you move
all
here,
the time.
The shocking part isn't necessarily the cold. The shocking part is how prepared everyone is.
I just gotta,
had to shake. Heated flooring. People buy proper coats. And there's kind of a cultural commitment to being cozy in the wintertime. So, cold sometimes, unlivable tundra, not. But you might be thinking, but Megan, isn't it dark all the time? This one to me
in the winter, now,
true.
yeah.
Yes, Norway has very dark winters. In December, daylight can be as short as 4 to 6 hours in the south.
We don't have to deal with the fucking seagulls and the fucking birds.
Here's what people forget, that the
all the time.
Right?
In winter.
In summer, Norway experiences the midnight sun, meaning the sun literally does not set. It can be bright at midnight, and your brain can fully forget sometimes that it needs to go to sleep. And culturally, this creates sort of a balance. Winter is for cozy things in, candles, slow morning, rest. Summer is for being outside constantly, late night swims, hiking at 10 p.m., and feeling emotionally invincible. So it's not dark all the time. It's almost like extreme seasons. Yeah. And the contrast itself has kind of changed the experience of time to me. You don't rush summer here because you love for the warmth to stick around.
Well, not the bright though, not the light.
When it's here either. You sort of just adapt to it. Now that we've cleared up the weather, let's talk about something a little bit more personal. The people. Norwegians don't like foreigners or tourists.
We don't like Americans.
I think it comes from a place of misunderstanding. Norwegians are often described as cold or unwelcoming, but I think what people are actually picking up on is a respect for personal space.
If you're American,
people don't assume access to you. They won't interrupt you, and they also don't fake friendliness. And
I was in Mexico for 2 weeks, and listening like to an American talking loud. Oof! It was like, guys, where are you, guys? There's something about the American fucking English, that specific thing that like, it just, guys, in Mexico,
I think that can feel like unfriendliness, especially to an American, when we're used to a culture where strangers chat constantly. Once you've been here for a while, you do start to realize.
Yeah. The few Americans I've met here in Norway have been very chatty. In the last video I talked about I lived in Bergen. Now I live in, I'm born and live in east of Norway. So Bergen is west. So I lived there for 2 years. It is a 7-hour train ride, right? 7-hour train ride. So I met me and my brother, we both lived in Bergen, and we met this American woman. And she was curious, and she talked, and she wouldn't leave us alone. She even wanted us to see, this was like when Superbad, that movie, 2008, something like that, 9, 10, that film came out, and she had this this was back in the day, she had this thing, was it a computer? I don't remember it as a computer, but it was something. But she talked about this film was amazing and everything, and she wanted us to see that film with her, watch that film with her on a fucking train of bad sound. I was like, what? But I honestly don't remember what happened after that. I remember we didn't watch the whole film. And also, a friend of mine, he worked at a gas station around here someplace. And he has talked about this story. he has a way of repeating himself. Oh, fuck. There was this American woman that came inside, and she was like, there's a lot of, candy things in the gas station, like a lot of things. And she was like, he said this many times, he sits back at the desk, making hamburgers, people buying gas, whatever. And this woman comes in and was like, should I buy this? No. Should I buy this? No. Should I buy this? And he has told us, I don't remember if she was fat or not, but he was like, why did she do that? and I guess he was joking about what she was gonna eat, she was picking candy and I shouldn't have done that. But there's something about American culture that really, really, really doesn't translate here in Norway. It's true that we are kind of reserved. Not like introvert, kind of, but it's if you don't have something interesting to say, don't say it. The silence between people doesn't have to be a negative thing. It's a beautiful thing. Shut the fuck up. That's a beautiful thing.
Something important. Norwegians are incredibly kind. They're just not performative about it.
Hey.
They'll help you without being asked. They'll switch to English instantly if they see that you need help. And they truly go out of their way to make you feel comfortable. And tourism is also huge here. Norway literally markets itself on its nature and its culture. So to say that the Norwegians hate tourists is mostly...
We hate Americans, not tourists. We hate Americans.
Not people. And honestly,
Americans.
That's fair. Which brings us to another
That's fair, yes. We hate
related myth,
Americans.
the idea that Norwegians are emotionally distant. I think this misconception comes up a lot.
I'm emotionally distant.
Americans. The thing that I notice the most is that Norwegians express their care through actions, not words. In the US, we do a few things, like we overshare.
Yes,
perfectly.
you do.
We are not afraid to talk about feelings.
No,
with
you're not.
strangers,
No, you're
and
not.
we say "I love you" in a very
Yes, you do.
casual way.
Yes,
and
you do.
Norwegians do basically the opposite of
Absolutely,
all of that.
we
The word
do.
love and "I love you" has a very different
Jeg elsker deg.
connotation to it
I have said
here
that to
than it
one
does
woman
in the States.
before.
Like
And I
said,
was
we
really,
use I love you
really,
casually. We
really
use
drunk
love
and fucked
casually.
up.
People aren't afraid to say,
And it
"Oh my
was
gosh,
like,
I love that. I love
you
that.
know,
That's
very
so nice."
sexual
Here,
setting.
you don't necessarily say,
But no.
"Oh, jag älskar det."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I love that. You don't do that. Älskar, the word for love, is not used lightly in this culture.
That's true.
But what I've noticed that Norwegians will do is they will show up on time every time.
No,
A Norwegian
no.
would help you move apartments,
I
no
won't,
complaints.
but no.
And a Norwegian would
But maybe,
remember a small detail about you
okay.
years later that you.
All right, so there's a Norwegian thing called dugnad. So we have a tendency, we live in blocks, and I don't know, but there's like, God damn it, what do you call it? Like blocks of fucking, many people live in those blocks, right? And there's a sort of sense of community there. Like, all right, so we all live in this giant building, right? Like 100 of us, 200 of us live in this giant building. So we have this thing called dugnad, where like, all right, so we all chip in to, you know, cut the grass and do this and do that, and, you know, make things, you know, clean around. But so that's the Norwegian thing called dugnad. But an equally Norwegian thing is escaping dugnad. It's like, oh fuck, it's dugnad now. Everybody got to chip in. Everybody, oh, okay, I'm sick, or I'm working right now. I can't. Oh, I don't answer the doorbell. You know, I'm not here. So the dugnad, the thing she's talking about, she doesn't say the word, but that's the word. You know, that we have this community thing. Yeah, but it's more based on like, we have to do it. Like, not necessarily something we want to do. Like, okay, I guess. You know, I guess morality dictates that we have to. But I'm not a good person per se, so.
I don't even remember telling them. Emotion here is quieter, but it feels deeper. And it's nice because honestly, that kind of emotional language grows on you. And finally, let's address one that I think confuses a lot of people. It's that Norwegians hate small talk. And this is technically true, but not in the way that people think. Norwegians don't hate conversation. They hate...
Because it's true. We don't like small talk. We don't like a thing in Norway that's often talked about is between us Norwegians is okay. So you're sitting in a bus. So you have I hate taking a bus, by the way. But we all, as Norwegians, try to just do everything we can to stay away from other people. So there's two seats, right? There's two seats. Wait a minute. Two seats. So you're sitting there with a window, you're sitting there in the corner and being comfortable, looking at the window. Nobody will sit down. Nobody will sit down unless it's full. Then you'll see a Norwegian person like go around like, who can I sit against? Who can I sit with without being awkward about it? So, okay, so there's a person. Okay, so I sit there looking out a window and the person sits down there. There's an understanding that, we have to do this. It's full, we have to. So we shut the fuck up, we don't talk. Because it's a necessity. We don't want to do it. It's like, gotta sit, all right, I guess so. Also a thing that's common. If I have a bag or something, I just put it there in the bus. Like, see, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying it out loud. I'm not directly saying anything. I'm just, you can't sit there. It's a bag there. So that's a Norwegian thing, I feel.
Forced conversation. conversation. A Norwegian doesn't want to talk just to fill the silence. They don't want to have to fake their enthusiasm, and they don't want surface level chatter that goes nowhere. I think a Norwegian does appreciate it every once in a while, but they're not going to initiate contact first. Norwegians love to talk.
Good.
They love to talk about nature, travel, politics. Norwegians love politics, society, stuff that they care about.
Okay, so my experience. Okay, that's interesting, because my experience isn't that we are, Norwegian politics. I've said this 1,000 times before to my friends. Norwegian politics are boring as fuck, and that's what politics should be. Politics should be boring. She's an American. She's lived here in 5 years. Yeah. That's after the Trump era. I know like 90% of Norwegians absolutely hate Trump. So I'm curious if she means like politics in general, or if she because if we as Norwegian people stumble upon an American, and there's, I can see a lot of Norwegians, talk about Trump. Scandinavians in general don't like Trump. Do not, except for my former friend. He can go fuck himself.
And they like to have deep, thoughtful conversations about these things.
Yeah, sure.
But there's a difference. Because when you're sitting on a bus in the U.S., you talk to the person beside you because it's just what you do there. That sounds
awful.
And here, I think if you were to strike up a conversation with someone on a bus, they wouldn't necessarily hate that.
Yeah, they would.
They're just not going to do it themselves.
They would hate it.
And silence in general is different here. It's not awkward. It's comfortable. There's sort of this societal.
All right, maybe we wouldn't hate someone sitting next to us in the bus and talk, but it would be like, why are you thinking, not saying, why are you talking to me? Can I just please be left in silence? Can I be left alone, please? It's like we would prefer to sit in our corner, look at the window, and just, relax, not talk. So we wouldn't, I don't know if we would hate it, but we wouldn't like it, that's for sure. Why should we talk to strangers? Why? That's the American thing. It's like, that's the Norwegian in me who is talking right now. Like, what do I get out of talking to a stranger? What the fuck do I get out of talking to someone on a bus? Nothing. I'm never gonna meet that person again. So why share why talk? You get it? Like, oh, you have to sit here, here. I'm sitting here, looking at the window. You're sitting here. What the fuck can we talk about that's in any sort of value? It's just small talk. It's just, okay, the weather. Oh, you're from America. I don't give a fuck. So just let me be at peace. Let me just sit and
agreement that you don't have to be making small talk.
Nope.
You don't have to be filling silence in awkward situations. You don't have to be asking someone how they feel or how they are if you don't care. It's just culturally not.
The American thing. How are you? Hey, how are you? That's an American thing. My dad is a very Norwegian man, and I remember he was in America, in New York especially, and he came back home and he said, it was pretty charming though when he told us. He said, "Hey, there was a guy who asked me how I was doing, and I answered, and he just left." Yeah, but that's how Americans are. They ask, "How are you doing?" That doesn't mean like directly, "How are you doing?" That's sort of cute, I guess. But yeah,
the same. So no, Norway isn't this frozen, dark, emotionally distant place filled with people who hate outsiders and refuse to speak. It's a country with strong
That's true. We don't hate outsiders. We're pretty liberal. We 17th of May is our national day. We are very welcome to other countries and other, like the melting ground. You know that idea. No, we don't hate foreigners. We don't hate people from the outside. We hate fakeness. We hate the fake. That's why I think there's like not only us, but kind of maybe especially in the North Scandinavia, we fucking hate Americans, and also English. The Brits, they are they are fake as fuck too. I'll say that.
reasons, quiet kindness,
Eating
deep
it.
connection, and a very different way of showing care. If you've ever believed any of these, you're not alone. I've been there too. And if you're a Norwegian watching this, feel free to correct me in the comments.
I just did.
Also, don't forget to...
All right, thank you for watching.